So, next up, we have Anastasia presenting from Floating Peaks, and they have their wool pole protectors to share with us this evening. Thanks, Anastasia.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Chrissy. I'll just share my screen now. Beautiful. Cool. So, kia ora team. Firstly, I just want to say a big thank you to Chrissy and Ignition and everyone for tuning in. It is a huge honour and a privilege to be here. My name is Anastasia Tristram, and together with my husband, we own Floating Peaks. Now, I guess the first thing to answer is who are we and how did we get here? Now, I wouldn't say we have taken a traditional route into farming and business. In fact, I grew up in Wellington believing sheep were born without tails until I met Hayden, who understood the basic anatomy of a sheep, having grown up in Central Hawke's Bay on his family hill country sheep and beef farm. We both started our journey or careers as medics in the New Zealand Army, but fast forward a few years, and before we knew it, we were spending weekends on the parents' farm, only to move in with them to see if farming really was for us. Long story short, over 4 years later, and we have never looked back and are enjoying, for the most part, riding the wave of farming. Where does Floating Peaks fit into it? Well, in 2022, whilst under the illusion that maternity leave would leave me with free time, we decided it was a perfect time to turn a few bales of wool from our ewes into felt and see what we could do. We had a few ideas, but nothing set in stone. We're practical people, so we knew that once we had the product in hand, we could have a play and see what eventuated. With a quick bit of R&D, our initial range of products focused on garden and landscaping. And to put it bluntly, we sold wool pots, some seed beds, and the more glamorous option of wool weed mat. Now, although this isn't actually where our products stopped, it was during this time that we dabbled in anything and everything in order to diversify our wool. It was also about this time that we were starting to plant poles on the farm. And Hayden said to me, why not wool pole protectors? Now, I must admit, at the time, I was like, oh, yeah, all right, let's give it a go. I wasn't fully convinced. But like everything, we figured, what's a harm? And we prototyped a whole bunch and placed them on our poles. Now, fast forward a year, Cyclone Gabrielle hit, and our poles were looking really good. And I had to admit, maybe he could be onto something. So that brings us to our wool pole protectors. Currently, upwards of 120,000 poles are planted annually every year, with the only option for protection being made from plastic. Now, this plastic waste is often left on farm where it remains until physically removed. As most poles are planted on erosion-prone land, this plastic waste often lays there for years, if not forever, which is not ideal in our pristine backyards. By utilising wool as a protection of poles, we are simply applying what we already know about wool into a new context. One, it's breathable. This will allow the bark to naturally harden. It's hygroscopic, which will absorb and release moisture as needed. It is natural and renewable, making it 100% biodegradable, and it is strong, crafted from high micron fleece wool. Now, after the first year of having wool pole protectors on the farm, we knew that in order to be successful, we needed validation. As we all know, it's one thing to have them work in your own backyard, but it is another thing for people to believe it's worth. In 2023, we knew we needed to put it to the test, and we wanted to see how other farmers found them and how they perform within different climatic regions. Now, at this stage, we actually tried to outsource the trial. We wanted to give it a lot of validation, but unfortunately, we were unsuccessful. So, failing that option, we ran our own trial. So, we self-funded and managed to successfully find 15 farms throughout New Zealand, including 4 from Pamu, who were willing to give our product a shot. Now, I know to a lot of people this probably doesn't seem impressive, but considering we're a small business and we're also trying to keep our product under wraps from competition, it was a huge accomplishment from us. Our initial trials have also allowed us to improve and make some adjustments to our original wool pole protectors. Now, these include the material. So we originally tested both our high micron fleece wool and recycled wool. The reason we did this was actually to safeguard the product if wool prices were ever to increase substantially. But it quickly became apparent that high micron fleece wool was far superior, with no reported results of tearing from stock rubbing. And I guess it is true what they say, they call it strong wool for a reason. Thickness, we have also opted to increase the thickness to extend the durability. Our original wool pole protectors start to show signs of degradation around the trunk at the 18-month mark. And application, we've also improved the technique and the instructions to make sure they are as sturdy as possible. Now this year we have, instead of doing a couple of bales, we've actually turned our entire U-clip into wool pole protectors. That was nearly 3 tons of greasy wool, but that's the confidence that we have a product that is ready to perform in 2024 and beyond. So that brings me to the next part, which of course is the pilot. We are looking for farmers that are planting poles on their farm this year. We would ideally like them to be planting a quantity that would allow them to test both the wool pole protectors alongside their normal method of protection to give it a safe trial. Poles are also expected to be prepared and planted in accordance with best practice guidelines. And there's 3 key areas that we want to focus on throughout our pilot. Now, the first one is application. We want to understand how farmers find the process of application, particularly when it comes to time, ease, and what they think of the process. Important to note that wool pole protectors can actually be applied before or after ramming, and we have developed an applicator that is more of a luxury item that just helps the wool pole protector slide over the top of the pole itself. Durability. We want to understand how they perform against pests. Now, this is a big one because currently on our different locations, we have not had any reports of notable pest damage from the likes of deer opossums. However, it is still too early to understand exactly where that level of protection sits. So we need to learn more about where that is. We also want to understand the longevity. So our expectation and hope is that our wool pole protector that we're releasing this year will last up to 3 years and beyond. With longevity, we also want to build farmer confidence in our product, as well as key stakeholders through the likes of councils. Now, requirements of being a part of the pilot are quite minimal, so we will require you to partake in 4 online surveys. So there'll be 1 survey to be completed after application, and 1 that will be required in the early months of 2025, 26, and 27. Each survey will require photos to be taken and uploaded, but the survey itself is designed to take no longer than 15 minutes to fill out and will be question and answer based. Now, the part you've all been waiting for, being part of the innovation. Currently, we are selling our wool pole protector singly for $10.50 each. However, thanks to Ignition, the first 25 farmers who sign up will receive 1 free box. And yes, you did hear that correctly, 1 free box when you're the first 25 to sign up. But the deal doesn't stop there. We are also offering pilot farms an exclusive discount. When purchasing a box of 40 wool pole protectors, you will only pay $320 per box, which equates to about $8.50 each. Plus, you will also receive a free applicator, which is valued at $30. Plus, you will also get free delivery. And as the great Suzanne Paul would also say, but wait, there is more. For those who participate, we really want to encourage participation throughout the entire length of the pilot. So if you continue to participate in our trial, you'll also be eligible for a further $1 off the recommended retail price of wool pole protectors for every year that you participate in the trial. When you tie that offer compared to what is on the market, the plastic protector retails for roughly the same, if not more, than the wool pole protector. It is an attractive reason to try them whilst also supporting your own backyard. Now, lastly, I really just want to take the time to say we are small in the world of innovation, in the world of business even, and all costs associated with trials and development have been from our own pocket so far. But we know that the future success of our product relies a lot on more skin in the game. And to get skin in the game, we need your help. So if you're on the fence or you're not sure, just give it a go anyway, because if you believe in wool, please believe in us. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. It's so nice to be able to put the spotlight on a local business working within the sustainability space. We've already had 1 question pop through for you guys specifically. So a wee question for you, Anastasia. I'll read it out in its entirety. So, great initiative, guys. Possums are an issue for us, and as bad as plastic does provide some protection, would the wool pole protector not provide a good climbing ladder for possums, or are they deterred from it as it's a fibre?
Absolutely, great question, and one that we've often had ourselves as well. So to put it into context, we have a trial site in Northland at the moment, which had notorious possum issues and damage. The wool pole protectors have not received any. Same with another trial site in our Gisborne region as well. Look, there are talks that maybe land on it as a deterrent. However, it's too early to say if it does offer protection or it doesn't. But that's why you possibly could be the perfect opportunity to actually give them a go. no damage yet, but more skin in the game. The more farmers like yourself that we can get in, the more understanding that we're going to get.
Awesome. So same deal as before. We obviously have the QR code there on the screen for if you're interested in getting a box or two of the bull pole protectors. Feel free to use the wee camera on your phone and sign up directly using that QR code. While you're giving you an opportunity to do that, we do have another question that's popped through. It is, great idea. What kind of wool are you using? Is it the offcuts or the main line?
Perfect. So I mentioned it a little bit in my speech, but it is actually our entire ewe fleece line. So it's not the dags, it's not the bellies. We've actually found that the staple length is actually an integral part of the integrity of the protector itself. So yeah, it is our Romney ewe fleece line. It's a high micron. We're sitting at about a 35 to 36 micron, and that's all that's in it. That and cotton, so it's fully 100% biodegradable. We did also test recycled wool, and the shortest staple lengths just weren't superior. And just to reiterate, using the high micron fleece wool, we had no damage reported from the likes of rubbing or like rubbing from stock.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, if there's any more questions that pop up while you ponder on everything that Anastasia shared, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll round them out towards the end. Feel free to use the QR code to jump in and sign up. It is only the first 25 that are getting that deal. Make sure you're in quick. We're definitely running a first in, first served sort of a basis on these pilots. Get amongst it while you can. Thank you so much, Anastasia. Really appreciate it.